The new year is an exciting time for multiple reasons, one of which is all of the great books that are going to come out that year. So in this video, I'm sharing 5 books coming out in 2025 that I am so excited to get my hands on and read when they come out. Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing some of my most anticipated 2025 book releases. Mostly mysteries and thrillers, but there is one that is a little bit of a different choice on this list, but I am super excited for nonetheless. This list is in no particular order. I'm very excited for all of these books. Let's get right into it. And while you're here, please do give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying it, and let me know in the comment section what are some books coming out in 2025 that you just can't wait to read. I would really like to hear from you. First on my list is Marble Hall Murders by Anthony Horowitz, the third in his Susan Ryland series, which started with Magpie Murders. This book is scheduled to be released on the 10th of April 2025, and it is also going to be adapted into a miniseries on Masterpiece PBS, like the previous 2 books were. Magpie Murders, the first book in this series, is one of my favorite modern mystery books. In the very first book in this series, Magpie Murders, Susan Ryland, our main character, is the editor for the very famous mystery author Alan Conway. Alan writes a mystery series featuring this detective named Atticus Pound, who is supposed to be a very Hercule Poirot-like character. However, Alan is very unlikable in real life, very difficult, and he ends up getting murdered in the first book, which is the mystery that Susan is trying to solve, while also trying to figure out what happened to the last chapter of Alan's most recent manuscript. I also read the sequel, Moonflower Murders, which I did really enjoy, though I think Magpie Murders is still my favorite of the 2. I know a lot of people actually like Moonflower Murders better, but personally, Magpie Murders is still my personal favorite. This is the third and I believe final book in this series, and basically the premise of this book is that Susan is now working as a freelance editor, and she is hired to edit a book by this young author named Elliot Crace. Elliot Crace has been hired to write a new mystery featuring Atticus Pound. And while Susan is editing the book, Elliot tells her that he knows who murdered his, meaning Elliot's, grandmother, and he's put a hint to who the murderer is in this new manuscript that he's writing. But Elliot then ends up being killed in a hit-and-run accident, and Susan becomes the prime suspect in his death. So she needs to figure out who killed Elliot, and does it have something to do with this mystery from many years ago that he alluded to. I presume that, like the previous 2 books, this book, Marble Hall Murders, will have a book within a book format, so we will be reading the manuscript for Pound's last case along with Susan, while she also tries to solve this real-life mystery. This is an aspect of these books that I really enjoy. I like the book within a book format, and I really like how Anthony Horowitz clearly has a vast knowledge of the mystery genre, and clearly he is as passionate about it as I am, so that's one of the things that I really love about his mysteries. I am excited to conclude Susan's story in this book. I hope that it's good, and I will be watching the PBS adaptation when it comes out in the future, because the first 2 I thought were really fun watches. Next on my list of my most anticipated books for 2025 is Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. I am a big Samantha Downing fan, and I really love some of her previous books, namely My Lovely Wife and For Your Own Good. This new book is scheduled to be released on the 12th of August, and the premise just sounds so interesting. So our main character is this elderly woman named Lottie, who currently leads a very quiet life in a small town where the most exciting thing that she does is play bingo. But you see, many years ago, Lottie was a serial killer, and her past comes back to haunt her when a journalist knocks on her door and starts asking questions about these murders that Lottie thought she got away with decades earlier. So, in order to preserve her secret, she just might have to go back to her old ways. Though getting away with murder is hard enough when you're young. It's even harder when you're elderly. Like I said, I have really enjoyed some of Samantha Downing's other books. They're some of my favorite thrillers that I've read in the past few years. Plus, the idea of this book about a retired serial killer just sounds so intriguing. I could not hit want to read on Goodreads fast enough. I can't wait to check this book out, and I have high hopes for it. Next on my list is a book that is coming out very soon. It is due to be released on the 25th of February 2025, and that is Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. Last year in 2024, I read her book Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and I thoroughly enjoyed that book. I rated it 5 stars. It was one of my favorite books that I read that year. So when I saw she had a new book coming out in 2025, I just knew this was something that I had to add to my TBR and read. This book centers on a new mother named Camilla. Camilla is excited because her maternity leave is over, and so she is ready to drop her baby off at daycare and get back to her job as a literary agent in London. However, things go horribly wrong because on the news, they start discussing a hostage situation, and Camilla's beloved husband, Luke, is involved in this hostage situation. She is terrified, not knowing what is happening to her husband. Is he going to be okay? But things somehow manage to get even worse than that, because when the police knock on Camilla's door, they tell her that her husband is not one of the hostages. He is the gunman. Camilla struggles to understand how her husband, who she's always thought was such a wonderful person, a wonderful husband and a wonderful father, how could he be holding all of these seemingly innocent people hostage? And the book is described by the author as a love story in a hostage situation. So it sounds interesting. We'll see how the story unfolds. I definitely want to check this out in the near future, since Wrong Place, Wrong Time was one of my favorite reads of 2024. So this went straight on my TBR, and I hope to read it this year. So the next book on my list, I don't really know how much there is to say about it, because really nothing about the book has been revealed so far. Not even the title, but I love this author and this series, so it had to go on my list of most anticipated releases anyway. I'm talking about the 5th Thursday Murder Club mystery by Richard Osman. This book is expected to arrive on the 25th of September, and even though I know nothing about this book yet, I am excited for it because I love the Thursday Murder Club books. I recommend them to like everybody that I know when they ask me for a book recommendation. So this series follows a group of British retirees who call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. Elizabeth, Joyce, Ron, and Ibrahim get together every Thursday to talk about unsolved crime cases. And throughout this series, they find themselves using their passion for true crime and their acquired skills to solve real-life mysteries. The good news is that I haven't read book 4 yet, The Last Devil to Die, so I will be reading that early in the year to tide myself over while I wait for the 5th Thursday Murder Club book. I just love these mysteries because the characters are so delightful. I love all of them, and sort of like I said with Anthony Horowitz, you can just tell that Richard Osman like really loves mysteries, and I think that really comes through in his writing. I love it when you can just tell that an author is really knowledgeable about their genre and they have the same love for it that you, the reader, do. Do I know what this book is going to be called? No. Do I know the plot? No. Do I know really anything about it at all? No, not really. Am I excited for it? Yes. Yes, I am. And the last book on my list of my most anticipated 2025 book releases is an upcoming book that I'm assuming a lot of you are excited for too. And it's gonna be Sunrise on the Reaping, the new Hunger Games book by Suzanne Collins. This is coming out in March and I've already pre-ordered it. I can't wait to get my hands on this book. I trust Suzanne Collins. She hasn't let me down yet, and I'm hoping that this book is gonna be really good because I loved the original Hunger Games trilogy when they all first came out. I really liked The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I remember that I was defending it at the time because there were a lot of people on BookTube who didn't like it, and I thought it was brilliant. So I have high hopes for this new prequel. I trust Suzanne. She hasn't done me wrong yet. Fingers crossed she won't do me wrong this time. I don't think I need to tell you what the Hunger Games books are about. Even if you haven't read them or seen the movies, you probably know the basic concept. This prequel is going to follow Haymitch, who is Katniss and Peeta's mentor in the main series, and follow him in the games that he eventually won. And knowing what we know about Haymitch's backstory from the original series, I already know this book is going to be emotionally devastating. And I'm ready to feel all the feels. I also really trust Suzanne, and I'm calling her by her first name like we're friends. We're not, but I trust her even though I don't know her. And I think she's not the type of person to just do endless spin-offs for the sake of it. I think she does it because she has something to say. She has a message that she wants to get across. So I'm very interested in this book. I hope it's going to be an amazing ride. I also have thought about doing a vlog on my channel, like sometime in March, where I reread the entire Hunger Games trilogy in preparation for Sunrise on the Reaping. Because even though I love those books, I don't think I've reread them since middle school when they first came out. So it would be really interesting to do a reread to prepare myself for the new book. I think I might also maybe have a deeper understanding of some of her political commentary now as a nearly 26-year-old person. I also just love Peeta Mellark. I think he's one of my favorite fictional men of all time. He is my beloved, okay? So I might do that reread of the original trilogy to prepare myself for this new book. I'm really, really excited for it. So those are the 5 books coming out in 2025 that I am the most excited to read. Do let me know in the comment section what 2025 book releases are you super hyped for. I would really like to hear from you and maybe add some other books to my TBR based on your recommendations. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. It really does help me and my channel, and it helps my videos reach more readers like you. Please do subscribe if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every single week. Thank you so much for being here today, you all, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you next time.